Welcome to a brand new episode of Movie Talk on Ocean Chicks Films. I'm your host, Karen, and tonight in the broadcast studio, we have actor Ben Heyman from the horror comedy Attack of the Killer Donuts. So sit back and enjoy this interview, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Welcome to a brand new episode of Movie Talk on Ocean Chicks Films. Today in the broadcast studio, I have actor Ben Heyman. Hey Ben, how's it going?
Hey, how are you, Karen? How's your day going?
Good. Thanks for agreeing to do this with me because this is very cool.
Thank
have this
you.
group of gals that called the Final Girls of Horror that I'm a part of on YouTube. And last week, when we did our weekly movie review, we randomly chose the movie Attack of the Killer Donuts, which I recall you are in.
I was, yes. I watched your review. You gave me a really nice review. Well, not me, but the whole production nice review. It's a throwback to like Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, obviously, but it was fun to do, and see Tommy Howell was in it, who I freaking love, The Outsiders, you know.
Yeah, me too.
And it was just, I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. That's what it's made for, you know.
Yeah, I really liked it. I've watched it probably 6 times now already.
6 times? Okay. Wow, that's a lot of times.
Yeah, I thought it was so funny. There's a lot of B movies that are maybe not quite as good, but this one, man, I just thought it was so hilarious, just so fun. How did you get to be a part of it?
How
did that happen?
There's this website called Actors Access, where basically you have a profile and you submit yourself to roles.
Right.
And then they send you a C-mail, which is like their version of email, if they select you to come in an audition. So the first audition was taped audition. I taped it at home, sent it in, got a call back, and then I went there in person. And I think a week and a half later, I found out I got it. And I'm like, I thought it was a joke because I'm like, it was like my second or third job in LA after working with Snoop Dogg that I didn't get paid for. But
you did?
Yeah, it was like a sketch about white guys connecting, and he was doing his character Todd, the white face guy, fantasy football draft, and we were his best white friends. And it I don't think there was any film in the camera due to them just forgetting to put it in there, because I never heard anything since then. But it was a very interesting experience. That's how I found Attack of the Killer Donuts on Actors Access, and then we made the movie. It took us, it was 13 to 14 days to shoot the film in 2014 to 2015.
Did you did they film it like in sequence?
No.
So were you just like there for part of it?
I was there for every day but one day. I don't remember what we shot first because it was 8 years ago. But like I guess it was just fun because it was one of my first films. I've done theater most of my life. So I've been trying to transition to film. Like I've done student films, but it's not the same at all.
Right.
And it was just interesting to know, like, to keep the lines fresh. I made sure I didn't know what scenes we were doing from day to day. Even if it was on the schedule, it would change. So keeping it fresh and not knowing was scary, but also I think made the performance better because it wasn't dry.
You were excellent in the film.
Thank you.
You were an incredible best friend.
Thank you. Incredible best friend in the best way, as long as Well, when I read the script,
except for the mom part.
When I read the script, Howard just like jumped out. Like he's just a fun guy. He's a doofus, but he has heart. So it was just I knew immediately that scene when they're trying to break in,
Yeah.
When I read that, I was laughing. I almost like pissed myself because it's classic. It's classic 80s comedy.
Yeah. Yeah, it had a very 80s look to it, a very 80s feel to it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you still friends with some of the cast too, like Justin Ray and Kayla Compton?
I'm still friends with them. Yeah. I mean, we talk here and there. It's been a bit since we've talked, but it's kind of like high school where like you're all close for the certain amount of time,
Yeah.
and then because you're always with each other. I don't know if I'm sure you know the famous heads up game that Ellen DeGeneres made famous with the putting the
Yeah.
So in between takes, me, Justin, and Kayla, we would be playing heads up and Farkle, if I remember. Do you know Farkle?
Yeah.
It's like a rolling the
Totally.
dice. Justin introduced us to that. I didn't know what Farkle was until
Oh, cool.
working on the film, but
That's a fun game. Are you still friends with C. Thomas Howell?
I'm as friendly as I'd like to be because I didn't want to because I'm a huge fan. He actually was in Cherry Hill, I believe, 2017 for some Monster Mania convention.
Right.
And he remembered me. He's like, "Did that movie ever come out?" I'm like, "Yeah, it did."
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I really loved him. I was like high school in the 80s, so totally I remember him totally. He was so good in this role.
He was very good and he was so funny. Everyone tell like my family says, "Is that Johnny Knoxville?" I'm like, "No, that's not Johnny Knoxville. That's C. Tommy Howell. You know who he is." But he was so there was this, if you remember when we come out of Mrs. Scolari's house.
Yeah.
And they shoot at us. There was a scene where like he just pulled the gun on me, and that wasn't in the script.
Oh.
And we like kind of like telecommunicated. Right. And I wish they kept that in the cut, but they didn't.
Oh, what a moment. Yeah, he's so funny.
There's 10 murderers in there. The way he does it, it makes me laugh every time.
One thing about the film, there's a lot of CGI, and I'm not a huge fan of CGI. I like practical effects better, but it so worked in this film. Like the donuts flying around and stuff, it was so well done. What was it like, green screens and stuff, and you just had to pretend they were there?
There were no green screens, but we were given marks of where they would be. So it was very strange reacting to invisible donuts.
Right.
Being my first CGI film. So you just had to, like, I guess, look at the mark and do the best you can. You know, it wasn't easy. I preferred the puppet ones because at least you can, you know, see them coming at you. And but they definitely add a lot to the film, and I like the little voice that they had. You know, it's very. It's kind of a character in its own without, like, it's kind of Charlie Chaplin-esque in a way.
Right. What was the voice? Was it someone doing that voice? Or was it just a stockpile clip that they put in there?
I think it's a stockpile clip that they just either it's, I don't know exactly where it's from, but if I were to guess, it's either from the aliens in Toy Story or the Minions in Despicable Me, but I don't know how they would even get their hands on that because that's Disney and hard to get.
Hilarious.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Any other crazy stories that happened during filming?
Yeah. So it was when we were filming it, we started, I believe, December 10th, and it was Hanukkah at the time. So the story of Hanukkah is the oil lasted 8 days, like a little bit of oil lasted 8 days. Right. And the reason it's relevant, and we eat jelly donuts on Hanukkah, but there was the scene where we're outside and we see that the three customers are dead on the ground. Like, my voice was not there. Every time before they called action, I couldn't speak to save my life. I thought I wouldn't be able to get the line out. They call action, and like the miracle of Hanukkah, my voice came back for like the 3 seconds to get the few lines out. Nice. So it's dorky, it's stupid, but I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, special. It's kind of like me interviewing you. It just kind of came together. It was meant to be.
It was meant to be. Yeah, well, you reached out, and I'm glad. I'm glad people are watching the film and being entertained, because we need to laugh right now. I feel like
Yeah.
comedy's been very hard to come by in the last 7-8 years.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's probably why I'm gravitating towards that, because I find independent films, B movies, if they're not taking it so seriously, it's so much more enjoyable to watch, I
Oh
think.
yeah, we knew going in the what it was like the tone of it, because
Right,
kind of in the script, but it was it was definitely a lot of fun.
right.
The one thing I kind of didn't like, the line when I pick up the donut and say winter's coming and throw it into the freezer.
Yeah.
If you noticed, I kind of throw that line away very fast because I found it corny and too gimmicky,
Too
uh,
much.
trying to get Game of Thrones fans.
Right.
So, and also from an actor standpoint, why am I talking to? I mean, I know it's a B movie, but why am I talking to a freezer? Am I
Right.
expecting the freezer to talk back to me? Like,
You know what part, aside from your character, I really loved the Flanagan, the hippie guy.
Flanagan was, yeah,
Oh
he played
my.
that really well.
He did. I'm from British Columbia, like I was telling you. I've done a lot of outdoor markets. You know, there's a lot of nature people here, hippies. And yeah, it was hilarious.
Yeah,
Just hilarious.
it was and I love that it's like kind of psycho-ish, like like the homage to Psycho, which Hitchcock's probably one of my favorite directors, but so that was cool to have in the movie.
Very cool. I didn't think of it that way. I was going to ask you too, what are some of your favorite movies and actors?
It depends on the day, but most likely, if I would have to give my top three: Stanley Kubrick, Billy Wilder, and Orson Welles. It's a dorky answer, but I love the older films and older directors.
Right.
My favorite movies, that changes all the time. I just saw an amazing John Cassavetes film that had Judy Garland, Burt Lancaster, called "A Child Is Waiting," about special needs kids in the '60s and how they dealt with them back then, and it was
Right.
like heart wrenching. It's not a comedy, clearly, but it was just interesting to see how, like, I didn't know there were films like that made in the '60s that they even talked about it. You know,
Yeah.
what are some of your favorite films? Sorry, you don't only have to ask me.
Asking me questions. Yeah, I love I was a kid in the 70s, so I like a lot of 70s films. Very first experience I had with horror was when I was probably about 4 or 5 years old. My dad got me to watch Kolchak, the Night Stalker. So I got right into it then. I love dystopian science fiction, Blade Runner, that kind of thing. I like Alien. Alien 2 is probably my favorite movie of all time. And I like supernatural horror movies, that kind of thing. I'm doing a review next on The Exorcist 3. Kind of very terrifying subject for me.
Why?
Me out a little. I haven't watched for a long time, but I'm delving into it and gonna.
Because you saw it when you were younger and it freaked you out, and now you're
And it freaked me out.
revisiting.
Yeah, scarred forever after that. The only movie I think that ever did that to me. The first one. I find the third one to be a little bit of a different vibe, a different feel. So I'm going to kind of delve into that one and have a look because they're incredible movies.
I've never seen the third one. I love the first one. I love '70s cinema. But anyways, what other films have influenced your? I mean, Blade Runner, dystopian.
I liked The Entity. I loved American Werewolf in London. Like, I really like practical effects and that kind of thing. And like I was telling you, I haven't delved a lot into B movies, but I'm enjoying that because I have an art background and I really appreciate the artistic side of films, things that go into it. And that's what got me into doing movie talk, talking with the actors and the directors and people behind the films, because I really love to learn all of the trivia and all of the bits that go into making the movie, as opposed to just watching it and going, yeah, it was terrible, I hated it, I give it a, an F and that kind of thing. I like to give things a chance. I have seen a couple films that are a little bit, I have a hard time finding anything good in them. I do admit that.
I mean,
But
we all have our different tastes. That's fine. Like, just like I like pizza and you might not like pizza. It's about preference. It's,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
So I kind of done this backwards. We talked about the Attack of the Killer Donuts because I was so excited about that. But what got you into acting, and tell us about your journey?
The first play I ever saw was on my 10th birthday. My mom took me to see Les Miserables in Philly.
Oh,
And I didn't understand the story, but because it was such a spectacle and all the war and everything, and it's just such a great. I still love the movie to this the show to this day.
right.
I think that had a huge effect on me wanting to start acting, and then uh, I started taking acting classes in 2003 in high school in Haddonfield, New Jersey, which is like 15-20 minutes. I don't know if you're familiar. It's like 1920-esque. Not that it matters, but that's where that's where it was. Like, they have all these beautiful old stone buildings and
Yeah.
whatever, but that's where the acting classes were. And from there on, little fun trivia. I actually, in high school, I was waiting to audition for my freshman year for the play.
Right.
I think it was Pygmalion. I'm not sure, by George Bernard Shaw. And I got so nervous, I chickened out and ran out of the audition room because not like while I was auditioning. It was too nerve wracking, and I just ran out. That's an exclusive. I don't think I told anyone that.
Wow.
um,
I get that. I used to, when I was a kid, I did dance classes and recitals and things, and I went pretty far with it actually. And then high school hit, and then there was boys and other things, so I changed. But it's scary doing
it is
that.
very. I have a lot of respect for dancers. They're so like they need to be so like trained, and their feet get beaten up. It's insane. I don't think I can
Yeah,
do it.
yeah.
It's
You could
not
do it,
easy.
but it is hard. Yeah,
The discipline. That's the word I was thinking. The discipline is insane.
yeah, very much so. Yeah, we used to wear our shoes until our feet bled, and then you were good to go because you toughen up your feet. That's how it went.
That sounds really painful.
Fun times.
It's also elegant. Like, I love Black Swan. Like, that's another favorite. I saw that in theaters. I'm like, what the fuck is this movie? This is this is amazing.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I like that one too.
But yeah, it was nerve wracking. But then from then on, I was in acting classes, and I always wanted to go to LA, but that didn't happen till much later.
Right.
I'm probably not telling it in the right order.
It's okay.
But then when I got to college, I went to Brooklyn College, and I was trying so hard to get into the BFA program,
Right.
and they didn't accept me. They wouldn't even. So I was vice president of the Hillel there. So I made my own drama club there. So for like the remembrance of the Holocaust, we would put on Holocaust shows for like 4 years. I would direct, produce, start in 2 of them, write, and then that
Yep.
really got things going because it was cool to just combine 2 passions. And then so I did that for a while, and actually in 2011 I became fascinated, just backtracking a little bit, because in 2007 I went to Poland on a heritage trip to visit all the camps and everything, and I didn't
Wow.
want to go. I never liked watching Holocaust movies because it scared the crap out of me to
Right.
imagine it really happened. So by going on that trip, and it had a major effect on me. So
I bet.
yeah, so being able to bring it to the stage, and then I interviewed my cousin who survived Auschwitz, and I wrote a play about his life for the third year I was directing.
Wow.
And it was very hard because as I was interviewing him, you have to be very gentle. You can't, you can't ask straight out. So, you have to be precise and sensitive to their experiences. So I I think it's the best thing I've ever done, because when the show finally got put on, we had 250 people in the audience. Most of them weren't Jewish because I advertised all over campus, and someone came up to me after the show and they're like, I saw parallels to slavery in here. I'm like, okay, I didn't plan on it, but I'm glad you interpreted it,
Yeah.
and were moved by it. One of the people that is a big contributor to the Hillel was also a survivor, and she was in the audience. And for the play, I like immersive theater. I had
Right.
the cast of 12 to 14 actors go through the audience on the death march, like in between every row. And she told us that she felt like she was back in Poland, which is, it's sad, but the fact that I was able to capture that and tell the story, I think is powerful, and I'm glad, I was able to do that.
Wow, that's incredible, Ben. That's incredible.
Yeah.
What an experience. So then did you know at that point that that was your direction?
Oh yeah. I kind of knew from the even before that, but I
Right.
only once I finished college and decided I was tired of just working,
Right.
that if I don't go to LA now, I'm never going to go to LA. So I went to LA, and um, yeah, it's been quite a journey.
Yeah. Do you want to do more acting, or do you want to do more directing and that kind of thing down the road?
Down the road, I might direct. I want to focus on acting because I've been doing it for like 20 years, even though I've only have a few films and stuff under my belt.
Right.
Um, so I enjoy acting. It's gonna sound crazy, but I find acting to be a religion of a sort.
Right.
Like in acting, you're supposed to be listening to everybody, to your partner, to everyone around you, and
Right.
in life we don't do that. So
Right.
um, I'm probably turning this into a religious weird thing, but so there's also catharsis and like playing. I remember when I was in Brooklyn College, I did a scene from Rabbit Hole. Are you familiar with the play by David Lindsay Abaire?
I'm not, no.
It's about a young couple who lose their son to a drunk driver,
Okay.
hits him in the street, and they're dealing with blaming each other. And it was very hard to do that character because obviously in college I didn't have any experience like that, thank God.
Right.
But it was just like being able to emote and relate as best as possible without judging and playing the scene was very powerful, and fun to do. So I knew I should stick with it.
So you draw a lot of your life experiences into the roles that you play?
Not all of them. I've never been attacked by killer donuts.
No.
Surprise. um,
Really?
yeah,
That ruins it
yeah.
for me.
But I mean, sometimes you do, but in some instances, like in Rabbit Hole, you put something else, something similar to the situation to that. So, like, my younger brother is 11 years younger than me. So, the only way I could emote that or have that feeling is imagine that situation, imaginary circumstance for him,
Right.
So, obviously, it's not the same, and I'm not equating it to a parent losing a child, but
Right.
that's the best way to get into some of those.
Yeah.
Even in the Holocaust plays I did act in, it's I don't think I ever really captured because I never went through it. I did the best I could.
Right.
So it's like I can't even think of the word, but you know what I'm saying.
Yep. No, I do. Yeah, you're drawing from your life experiences and kind of putting that emotion and feeling into the role. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the same. I have an art background and I do drawing and painting and that kind of thing, and it's a lot similar, when you're finding ways to be expressive, to
Do you
express.
usually draw from your own personal like what inspires you to draw what you're drawing or painting?
I'm kind of all over the place. I tend to like to work with realism, but I've done collage work and kind of expressive things as well. So I'm kind of all over the place. I'm a very visual person, so I really love the ocean out here. And I come from Ontario in Canada, so no oceans or anything like that. So when I moved out to the West Coast, the first thing I wanted to do was see the ocean, and that was hugely inspiring. So I did a lot of uh, rock drawings. There's lots of rocks and seashells and things that collect on the beaches. And that was kind of my inspiration, was that kind of thing.
That's very cool. I wish I wish I could draw. I can't. I tried to do animation early on, but I'm not good at it.
You're not, that's not your thing, because you're an actor. That's your outlet.
It is
I
my
wouldn't be good
I,
at acting either.
yeah, but I also would love to do music, but I know I can't. You know what I mean?
Have you studied any instruments?
Nope.
Can you sing?
I can't sing to save my life.
One day.
One day, I mean, I could train myself, but I can't sing like Broadway uh
Right.
well.
I guess you're around all of that too all the time. But maybe one day there'll be a role where you'll be required to, and you'll do it. You'll have your moment.
Maybe that'd be cool. It would be a cool challenge, you know.
Yeah. Also, I saw that you've done a few other films, and one of them I was interested in was that State of Desolation.
Desolation.
Can't
Yeah.
talk. Desolation. State of Desolation.
Yeah.
That is, you've just completed it, or is it out?
Oh, so I shot that right before in October, right before we shot Donuts. So I have a very small role, but I'm a sport coat zombie. The cool thing about that is I met Jamie Bernadette, who I think you might be familiar with from I Spit on Your Grave. I Spit on Your Grave,
Oh,
Deja Vu.
wow.
Um, so I think she wrote State of Desolation and produced it, and she was the lead in it, and we
Right,
shot it all the way back then, and it's coming out soon. But
right.
I played opposite her as a zombie, and the Walking Dead crew, I believe, that did all the makeup for them, painted my face, and that was a cool experience at first until
Very
you
cool.
feel the icky crap on your face, and
Yeah,
you have to. I actually do have a funny story about that
sure.
that film. So we were all getting put in makeup, and we had the toilet, the outhouse was like 5 miles down Laurel Canyon, and so we would have to get in the golf cart, go, and one of the actresses that was also in zombie makeup, she knocks on the door, nobody's answering, she opens it, and there's a guy in there, and she scared the crap out of him because we're in like the middle of nowhere. So that was pretty funny.
Incredible. Speaking of The Walking Dead, I'm a huge, huge fan of The Walking Dead. I cannot wait until the first movies come out. Um, yeah, really, really big fan. That
It's
must
a
have
good
been
show.
incredible.
It's definitely a good show. My sister loves it. I've seen the first two seasons, and I'm not that I don't like it. I try. I love horror, but at the time that it came out, for me, I wasn't as into. I like the Dawn of the Dead that came out in 2005, and
Yeah,
like 28 Days Later. So maybe I'm too old. I don't know.
it takes a bit of getting into. To be honest, I was a few seasons behind, and everybody said you need to watch. So I sped watched like right through to get caught up, and I started watching a couple seasons in because I was like, I'm not gonna watch all this, and you guys are all watching the new stuff. I'm gonna get right in it and
There's so much
watch.
to watch. They have like how many spin-offs? It's a great show. It's like
Yeah,
I never thought to combine like soap opera-ish storylines amidst like the end of the world type situation.
yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely. I mean, I can't. It's been what 11 seasons or 12? I don't even know
I
anymore.
think so. Yeah, like 11, something like that. I didn't watch the last 2 seasons. I saw just a little bit beyond when Jeffrey Dean Morgan started up with them, and then I kind of fell off. And like when the character Rick got killed, and now I'm waiting for the movies to come out. So, and I didn't get into the Fear the Walking Dead or any of that. I watched a couple of episodes, but for me myself, I'm busy all the time, so it's really hard for me to commit to a series. There's so many episodes to watch. So, but very exciting that you guys got to do the makeup. That must have been. I can imagine. I would have been terrified seeing that too.
Well, yeah, no, but it was also a fun film. Jamie really, she makes it's a fun set. Like I had one
Yeah.
fight with her. You probably won't even recognize me because they put like an Owen Wilson prosthetic nose on me, and and like I won't ruin the movie because I don't know when it's coming out, but like it was a fun fight scene and cool to do. Cool to be the best, not the best part, but one of my favorite things was we couldn't clean off the makeup all that well. So like to get home, I think I took like an Uber or a Lyft, and I got into the Lyft and they didn't like that I still had my makeup or half of my makeup on because I couldn't get it all off, and they were a little freaked out, but they at least took me home, so that was
It'd be cool sitting in the back seat and like slowly creeping into the rear view mirror.
it's Laurel Canyon, so I don't know if you've been to LA. Like
No.
it's freaky there. It's like out of a horror movie at night.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Crazy.
I can't wait to see that movie because that was a lot of fun to work on.
Yeah, I bet. Do you know when it'll come out? No, just
I don't have a specific date, but when I find out, I could let you know.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'd love that. I want to see it for sure now.
I saw you. You might not. You probably won't even recognize me because there's so much makeup on me. But
Right.
I saw that you watch Midnight Meat Train recently.
Oh, I still have to review that today, actually.
Okay, so then you can't talk about it. But I'm so interested to hear your thoughts because it's a good movie.
Yeah. I at first watching it, I just watched it the first time the other day, and I was thinking, okay, this is pretty slow moving. I'm over CGI'd. I'm not really, and then the end, and I was like, I like this movie.
It's a
And
really
now I
good
want to
movie.
watch it again. Yeah.
I can't even compare it to any other film because it's not like any other film. You know.
Oh, yeah, it's crazy. I don't even know how I'm going to review it, to be honest with you, because what am I gonna show? It's gonna get demonetized and shut down instantly.
Probably.
Can't show it. I can't. What can I talk about? Like, it's so intense.
It is intense, but it's a really good performance. I mean, obviously we all know
Yeah.
Bradley Cooper's a good actor, so like it's crazy that people are only discovering it now after all his success. You know.
Yeah, it's very strange that he's in it. I think that was kind of shocking too.
Well, I don't know if this is getting kind of dorky of me. I don't know if you've seen Wet Hot American Summer from 2001.
No.
So that was actually his first film.
Oh.
And it has like a young Paul Rudd, Elizabeth Banks, David Hyde Pierce, who was obviously already famous from Frasier. It had all these young comedians in it, and he's in it, and it's not your typical Bradley Cooper role. So it was it's a very funny film. You should check it out. It's not
I will.
It's not horror, but comedies. It's a classic comedy.
Yeah, I watched that too. He's very talented.
He's insanely talented. I love The Star Is Born. I was like,
I did too.
I saw it twice. I love it a lot. I still love the Judy Garland one more. Maybe because, if you can tell, I have Wizard of Oz poster on the wall.
That's funny you're saying that because Wizard of Oz, I probably watched it a billion times. I remember I was a kid, and my dad saying, again? Like, Dad, it comes every year. We have to watch it.
Yeah, no, it's a I love that film. It's an amazing film, and especially for kids, I feel like it's really good for them to watch, I think. I mean, it was made in 1939. Imagine what was going. Sorry, not to go back to that, but imagine what was going on in the world back then. And that's Gone with the Wind and that movie in the same year. I mean,
Yeah, incredible.
it is
Incredible.
incredible.
Yeah. What do you think of more modern films and things that are coming out nowadays? Like, I don't want to say any names, but like some of the newer franchise 10th movies and things like that.
I like some of them. I'm kind of picky when like I said, I like the 70s a
Right.
lot, like Chinatown and Missouri Breaks and that kind of stuff. So I'm not against. I'd rather rewatch like older movies I haven't seen or foreign films. Not that I don't like the new films. I just feel like everything's kind of a copy of a copy of a copy.
Right.
And that's fine for homaging, but I don't know. I'm weird with my taste. Like if you ask me my favorite movie today, it would be different from what I tell you in a week from now because whatever's on the mind, you know?
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. I kind of feel the same way. I'm recently kind of delving into older John Carpenter movies, Prince of Darkness, kind of going back into that and watching them again. Yeah, for sure. That's how I am too. There's so many movies out there that even if you didn't watch anything new and you went back into all the old films, you'd never run out of.
No, I don't think you can run out. I mean, there's nothing like I'm really excited. I'm a Batman geek. I'm really excited for the Batman because just I mean, Robert Pattinson has gotten so much hate for no reason, and
Right.
he's done all these interesting art films over the past like 8 years
Yeah.
that no one's really paid attention. I mean, maybe not no one, but not enough people have paid attention, or at least according to the Facebook comments I read. Um, he's gonna blow us all away with that cast: Paul Dano and what's his name, Colin Farrell and
Yeah.
Zoe Kravitz. What are you? Are you a Batman?
I'm waiting for it too. Yeah, I'm pretty excited to see it. Do you have anything that you're working on now that you can talk about?
I can't say much about it. I'm doing some writing,
Okay.
and it's been taking me. I started when the pandemic kind of hit because I haven't really written since the play I wrote in 2011.
Right.
But I did shoot a film right before the pandemic with a good friend of mine called Doppelgangers, which is about two guys. One guy, him, looks like Jim Carrey, and me thinks he looks like Seth Rogen, and goes around the Berkshires trying to pick up women by telling them they're Seth Rogen and Jim Carrey.
Oh.
And the shoot went really well. We shot it on our iPhones.
Right.
We just have to do a lot of reshoots, and it was like in the vein of Dumb and Dumber, and it was a lot. I don't know how loved it might be, but we found it hilarious. Like we were laughing on set and enjoyed making it. So I don't know when it will be out, but I will keep you posted. But it was a lot of like we met on the set of Wolf of Wall Street as extras,
Okay.
and then we've been good friends. Like it's just funny because everyone always told him in audition rooms, you look like Jim Carrey. And if I had a fucking nickel for every time someone told me I look like Seth Rogen,
Yeah, you do.
I went to Alaska with my mom in 2019, 2019. I don't remember. And we're doing this mining for gold scavenger thing,
Yeah.
like they used to. And one of the women working there, she taps me on the shoulder. She's like, "You probably never get this, but you look like Seth Rogen." And I'm just like, "Fuck."
You should have said I am.
I'm clearly not that it's a bad thing. I think Seth Rogen's hilarious, but it's like them. I don't know. No, I don't want to diss Seth Rogen, but it's not I don't take it as a compliment. Because it happens so much. Like even in LA, someone's like, "Can I take a picture with you at this party? You look like Seth Rogen." I'm like, "Oh, okay." fine if you want.
Oh, I can see that.
But yeah, I'll definitely keep you posted about that. Other than that, just been auditioning and trying to get, it's been hard with the pandemic, honestly.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. I can't even imagine what that's like. Are things starting to open up where you are?
Sort of, but not really.
Here too.
Like oddly, like last year was like an abundance, and this year just seems like completely weird.
Yeah.
But that's it. It ebbs and flows, and it'll be back on. It will be opening up soon, and hopefully more.
It will. It will. Things are going to start to go. I feel it. I'm confident.
I think people need. I think the artists need to express themselves, and the people need the distraction. Like one of the reasons I wanted to become an actor is because so many like Robin Williams and all these great actors who I watched growing up like helped kind of raise me in a way. So if I can give back in the same way they gave to me in hard times, then I'm doing my job,
That's very cool. Yeah, it's a good outlook to have for sure. I will, in the description box below, I'll post out your IMDb or whatever socials or anything that you're willing to put out there so people can check out your stuff. And you'll have to come back on again.
Yeah, definitely. I really enjoyed it. I hope I wasn't too tangenty.
No, it's fantastic. You're doing a great job. Thank you so much for doing this. This was kind of like a wow moment for me, a big dream. So cool, because I really did love that movie so much.
I'm glad you loved it. If I can, it was fun to make.
I wish you all the best success in your career, and yeah, I look forward to chatting with you again.
Thank you for having me.
Bye.
So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I really did. Ben's really cool. And Attack of the Killer Donuts is a really fun, silly movie. You got to check it out too. And I just want to say again, thank you, Ben, so much for stopping by and chatting with me. It was a lot of fun. You're always welcome back, anytime. And I will post all of Ben's socials and IMDb and everything down in the description box below so you guys can check him out, watch some of his movies that he's been in. And if you like this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up because it helps me out a lot, and subscribe to the channel for more movie talk interviews like this one. There's going to be way more coming up soon, and movie reviews, and also the Final Girls of Horror. And next month is going to be really fun with those girls because we are doing 2 of our favorite movies that have Final Girls, and also 2 of our favorite female directors in movies. So that's going to be really exciting. You'll have to tune in for that every Friday. And thank you guys so much again for stopping by. I love you all, and I will see you in a couple of days with another movie review. Bye, guys.